Today on What It's Like, another pocket episode. Today's featured car, 1993 Mustang LX. This style of Mustang was commonly known as the Fox Body after the platform it was built on, the Fox platform. Ford built the Fox Body Mustang from 1979 to 1993. Fox Body Mustang is considered third generation. Side note, I always wondered if they did that on purpose because Chevy sort of did the same thing with the C3 Corvette, with little to no changes in one major or maybe possibly two major facelifts during the whole entire production run. The Fox Body Mustang was offered in three flavors: convertible, coupe, hatchback, offered in two trim levels, LX and GT. Underneath the hood sits two power plant options outside the whole Cobra and Cobra R models. In the basement, the literal basement, 2.3 liters inline four-cylinder. It makes a whopping 105 horsepower and 140 foot-pounds of torque. The other option was the 5-liter V8 EFI, which stood for electronic fuel injection. It made 205 horsepower, 275 foot-pounds of torque. All right, driving the 93 Fox Body Mustang. So we're gonna do a pull. We're in first gear here. We'll just hit it. This car is nothing to really write home about, and like I feel the same way about this car as I did the Mercedes 450 SL, because everybody puts this car up on a really high pedestal and it's just okay. There's nothing spectacular about this car. It is just okay. The best analogy that I could give you is just like the smell in here. This car smells like Motel 6. That is what this car is. It's just okay. Staying at Motel 6 is just okay. They make it look so great on TV with the commercials. We'll leave the light on for you. Great place to stay, I suppose, but it's just okay. And that is how this car is. It is just okay. The shifter, the clutch is really heavy for one. It doesn't drive like I would think that it would drive. I would think that the clutch would be light, the shift would be smooth and seamless. Like, for example, we drove the Trans Am, the 2000 Trans Am. I thought that car would be what this car is, and they're total opposites. I thought this car would go fast, it would sound good. It doesn't sound good. It sounds okay from the outside. Everything's okay from the outside, just like Motel 6. So that's why we're coming back to that, because you watch the advertisements and you're like, oh man, this is going to be great. I'm going to have the best night's sleep ever. And you get there, and it's just okay. No continental breakfast that I'm aware of. And you know, it's just this is a very mediocre car. I'm gonna downshift into third real quick and get on the on ramp. We're turning 3,000 RPM at 50 miles an hour. I'm gonna go down one more. I'm gonna go into second gear. Now I'm turning 3,500 RPM and I'm flooring it. Just okay. It does handle quite nice, but that's due to the fact it has a short wheelbase. But yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed by this car because everybody and their mom talks about this car as it's like, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. It's not. Sliced bread's better. Before we conclude, I want to talk more about this car. This car is put up on such a high pedestal by auto journalists and car lovers, and it sort of has that same taste for me as the 450 SL Mercedes, to me. But given the choice between the two of them, I would definitely choose the Mustang. It's a way better car. Anyway, I mentioned Hotel 6 earlier, and honestly, that is the best way to describe this car. It is very and very okay. Everything is just okay. Last episode was the 2000 Trans Am. Honestly, I thought this experience would reflect my reaction to that car, and it's flipped. I will say that this did handle really well, but that's all. That's all it did really well. The one that I tested, the clutch was really heavy, like way heavier than it should have been. And the gearbox was a tad bit notchy. It wasn't overly notchy, but it wasn't nearly as smooth as the 2000 Trans Am. That is for certain. Working at John Kufleitner has given me the opportunity to drive all kinds of crazy cars. Yesterday, I got to drive a 66 Mustang as well, and it's stick shift. And the clutch in the Fox Body Mustang is way heavier than the clutch in the 66. And it's actually easier to drive the 66, and the 66 drives better, and it pulls harder. Like, this one was just a utter disappointment for me. One more point I want to make. I had an 88 Lincoln Town Car, same motor, but it had the AOD, so the 4-speed automatic transmission. The AOD stood for automatic overdrive. It had 160 horsepower was the rating, and it weighed a whole lot more than the Mustang, but it pulled so hard. Like, the trick to those cars was to putt it up to like 15, 20, maybe even 25 miles an hour. If you slammed on the gas, that thing took off like a rocket. My friend, when we were in high school, I was 19 when I owned that car. My friend had a stopwatch, and he stopped the watch at 8.5 seconds, 0 to 60 in that car. That Mustang that I drove didn't feel like it was that fast. It felt like it was maybe 10 seconds, 0 to 60. It was really slow. My van goes faster than that Mustang did. It's not all about speed, and I shouldn't have dwelled so much on the performance of this car. I just was really disappointed by it. I thought it was going to be so much better than this, and I was just disappointed. All right, anyway, on to Name That Tune. First person to give me the correct name of the song as well as artist correctly will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. And just a hint, it's not going to be Mustang Sally because that would be way too easy. I made that one a little bit easier. That's one of my all-time favorite songs. Anyway, thank you so much for coming out here and watching this. And be sure to hit the like button if you dig the episode. And until next time, toodaloo!